Good morning to all. I am, of course, elated to see all of us here representing different sectors and areas of our society. Let me recognize, of course, my cabinet colleagues who are here with me. I want to also recognize the Police High Command, but especially to recognize the leadership of PAM, who has been here for on both occasions, both the leader and deputy leader, Mrs. Gray and her deputy leader. I also want to recognize that the PLP was present and its leadership was here in the person of Dr. Timothy Harris. And of course, we had from our last one where CCM and NRP were represented. I see NRP is represented here again in its deputy leader, showing its commitment from the Navy's end. Why do I highlight the different political parties? It is because it is essential, not only essential, but vital that we all work together. And I'll explain in 2 minutes in a second, but allow me to also recognize Dr. Richardson, who has been a visiting professor over the years and is now here in St. Kitts and Nevis. She has come and presented extremely well as to why it is essential to tackle this matter from a public health perspective. And so I want to thank you, the Whipple Institute, Dr. Isben Williams, and of course, the presence of Windsor University. I want to also take this time to recognize PSs who are here with us as well, members from so many different organizations who have sent their people from the ministries then in terms of faith base. I want to also recognize sporting groups. I see them being represented here. I don't have the list of all who are here, but I can see the various faces throughout. And so I want to officially again welcome you to this national event. In 2 minutes, let me say that the data is striking. And the data goes up to 2023, June 2023. So it shows that this issue has been going on for a long time. As a medical doctor, I had the opportunity to study this data very far back and recognize that if there is not a holistic approach and a concerted approach, that this problem will not be solved. That is why you have had the problem over different political administrations. That is why I want to take the politics out of it. Because if we don't, we will never resolve the issue. So from my perspective, and I see from the perspective of other politicians as well, we have to work together to see how we can resolve this matter. And it takes all of us who are here, even beyond the politics. Law enforcement alone cannot do it, but they must do their part. But we as a society have to come up with the solutions. But when I look at the data, and I examine the data from my own professional background, there is a lot of hope right here. Because with the data, it means that we have the issues, the causes. We can define very precisely what is the problem. And if you can diagnose the problem, it gives you a great opportunity to come up with the solution. And so when you look at the presentation from USAID to show us the gangs and where they are and so forth, they approached me and I told them, of course, we need this type of analysis and study in St. Kitts and Nevis and should have no influence at all from the government because I wanted a very objective view of what is taking place in St. Kitts and Nevis. And again, the presentation does not surprise us a lot, but at least it confirms some of our suspicions as to what is taking place in St. Kitts and Nevis. And then we were able to hear from a former Minister of National Security of Jamaica, a society that he admits has been dealing with the issue for a very long time. We can learn from what worked for them, what did not work, and in our own sphere, as Dr. Richardson says, looking at our own idiosyncrasies, our culture and so forth, we can derive our solutions. And so, on this matter, I will say, I'm very hopeful. And I'm hopeful because I've been in the practice of solving problems. The first thing is to diagnose, and we have diagnosed the problem. Now we are going to come up with the solutions, but it takes all of us. And so I want to say officially, and to launch from this point onwards, the 90-day campaign against violence and crime. And to say that there will be a number of activities that would involve all of us. And to also say that from my perspective, this will never ever become an issue only when we see a flare in violent crimes, but that it will be a staple on the table when it comes to policies. And so we will create, from the interministerial aspect of the government, a secretariat, which we have started already. And that secretariat will reach out to all in our society who want to contribute positively to resolving this matter. And so the government will put its resources behind this. And from that secretariat, we will collaborate with all of you so that together, once and for all, we can say that the whole of society is engaged in dealing with the issue of crime and violence and making citizen security our priority. Thank you very much.